So I think we are ready to begin, huh?
Yes.
Yep.
So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second day of the Bautopia second edition conference, Culture and Creativity Conference. It's really a pleasure to see you all here, and I hope you enjoyed the formal opening we had last night at UPTech. For those of you who missed, unfortunately, you did not get to enjoy the wonderful Portuguese wine and delicacies, but luckily you will be able to make up for missing the keynote speeches because we've recorded them and they will be available on our website in a few days. So it's really a pleasure, together with Vassilis here, to kickstart today. And we have a few welcome words at the beginning of the session from the organizers, the colleagues and the representatives of the organizations who have been behind this conference. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Jana, who is the new director of Goethe-Institut in Lisbon. She will give a few words on behalf of the Goethe-Institut as the lead partner in the Creative Flip project.
Shall I take this one? Okay. Yeah, good morning. I spoke to a couple of people who actually had after parties after the gathering, so no wonder that we start a little bit late. On behalf of the Goethe-Institut as the lead partner in the Creative Flip project, and on behalf of our consortium's partners, the European Creative Hub Network, as the main co-organizer of this event, as well as IDEA, Consult, the 3S Unternehmensberatung, and the IPIL, the Intellectual Property Institute in Luxembourg, a very good morning. And also for me personally, as mentioned, the new director of the Goethe-Institut Portugal, it is a great pleasure to welcome you here in Porto at the Bautopia, the second edition of Creative Flip and ECHN, Culture and Creativity Conference. I'd like to greet you here. You expressed yesterday already your pleasure to meet in person, but I also want to greet the audience that has taken the chance to participate online, which I think is a great thing nowadays that we all learn now to do hybrid conferences and events. I would also like to welcome the representative of the European Commission, Barbara Stacher, who is here, the Director General for Education and Culture, who is coordinating the Creative Flip project, and also the representatives of the Porto Municipality and the Viana do Castelo Municipality, together with the UPTech, who has hosted us yesterday, so lovely, and the Crew Creative Hub from Porto, and also Dynamo Dej from Viana do Castelo, for their invaluable cooperation and support in organizing and co-promoting the event. And I also want to take the chance to thank my two colleagues, Wanda and Dubravka, who are really putting the ties together and made us all being here in this beautiful space of Porto. I'm also happy to have here with all the representatives of the creative hubs. Some of them I got to know yesterday night for the first time, and was really inspiring talks. And also all the cultural and creative institutions, participants in the Creative Flip Twinning Hubs, in the Learning Labs program, the cultural and creative professionals, the policymakers, and representatives of the sector from across Europe and Portugal. The Goethe-Institut is very proud to have been implementing the Creative Flip project, together with its partners since 2019. Firstly, as you know, as a pilot project of the European Parliament, and since 2021 as a pilot project, as a preparatory action with the support of the European Commission. During this time, we implemented many successful activities, such as the P2P exchanges between creative hubs and the first round of learning lab programs, issued important reports and policy recommendation on the 4 key topics of finance, learning, innovation, and IPR, and launched such flagship initiatives as the Creative Unite platform. It is our great pleasure at this conference we are taking our work one step further. And today you will hear all about our efforts when it comes to mobility and community building programs, supporting cooperation and knowledge exchange within, but also beyond the CCS. Shortly today, you will also hear about the new tools as part of the Creative Unite platforms. These tools are a major milestone to our work, providing an invaluable support to the CCS in their quest for varied sources of finance and for securing their intellectual property rights. Faced by such challenges as the COVID pandemic, the climate change, or the ongoing war in the Ukraine, we are painfully reminded of the fragility of our sector, but also of its strengths in bringing about innovative and creative solutions to burning problems. These challenges have made it clear how invaluable culture is for resilience and well-being of our societies. Even more, the rapid changes in the digital and innovation sphere spurred on by mentioned crises have shown us that culture and creativity have an extremely important role to play in the future transformation of our societies and must imperatively be an integral part of this process. We must work jointly with other sectors, exchange our knowledge and experience, and think both in terms of global and local challenges and solutions when finding the best answers to burning problems and societal changes and challenges. Through, as we heard yesterday in the keynote, scaling diversity, promoting generative design, and things like that, which I found very inspiring. And these are precisely important messages in the work of the Creative Flip, as well as the topics of today's Culture and Creativity Conference. At the Goethe-Institut, we have always emphasized the importance and power of international cultural relations, as we called it, or as I may quote from yesterday, maybe we should call in the future international assemblages of care. As they incite exchange, people-to-people contacts, learning from each other, to name only a few. This is why through EU-funded projects such as the Creative Flip or Culture Moves Europe, that has officially been launched yesterday, jointly with the European Commission, we support the mobility of artists and cultural professionals and foster opportunity for exchange among sector stakeholders from different parts of Europe. Therefore, on behalf of all us organizers, it is our great pleasure to have the opportunity to host you here in Portugal, in Porto, which is, as far as I can say now, definitely one of the country's hubs for creativity, to exchange and discuss on the most important issues of your sector, its future, and that of our societies and the planet. I wish all of us a successful conference and look forward for interesting insights and decisions ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jana. As already mentioned, Creative Flip is a project which has been running since 2019, supported by the European Commission, Directorate General for Education and Culture. And we are very happy to have with us today Barbara Stacher, who has been the policy officer and project officer for Creative Flip since the very beginning, and has been one of the key reasons why it's been such a successful project from the start.
Thank you very much. Well, can I sit down or? Yes. So it has been a long journey together since the beginnings. Cristina will tell more about how this project, which is not really a project, it's much more than a project. It's also policy making. It's kind of new grounds for, you know, you have heard the different EU institutions like the European Parliament, the Commission, also the member states, different levels like the regional levels here, very important, very present. So that's on the one hand, and on the other hand, culture and creative sectors, the hubs. So it's kind of a strange way of bottom-up, top-down, I don't know, spaghetti ball cooperation. And it has worked out because actually, yeah, you can see, for example, just to mention the tools which are being launched. I mean, why are these tools being launched? So that goes back to a conference that we did together in Molenbeek, in one of the you know, difficult areas of Brussels, with Filipe and the Creative Hubs Network. Basically, what they did was also something new. So the member states, usually they work together in closed rooms, you know, and they decide on things like the work plan for culture for 4 years, and what should be done, etc. Now they brought together all those member states which have been cooperating in closed shop member state groups, you know, doing recommendations, like there was a so-called group Open Method of Coordination of Member States experts working on access to finance for culture and creative sectors, another one on innovation. Well, and people said, the member states said, we should do a stock taking. What have we achieved of the recommendations that were done? What has not been achieved? But yeah, let's do it together with the Creative Hubs Network, with Filipe, with the culture and creative sectors. Why shouldn't we discuss together of what is needed instead of each one on their sides, you know? So yeah, this project brought them all together in a creative hub in Molenbeek in Brussels a few years ago. And everybody brainstormed together of what is needed. So out of this collective exercise came the idea, there are so many financing pots, we don't know where to apply to. And that was the beginning of the So You Need Money tool. Then another group said, well, we would like to make money also with what we produce, but we don't know about IP and patenting. Nobody knew how it works. So they said, well, we need more information. We need somebody to guide us. So out of this collective brainstorming now are coming these 2 tools which are presented today, plus a third tool which has been done with another project by the Creative Hubs Network about mobility. I mean, many cultural and creative people, they say, how can I move from country A to country B? What kind of residencies are offered? Which opportunities are there? So, you know, they also, this mobility tool of Creatives Unite now also assembles all these opportunities and also includes the new one which was launched yesterday on Culture EU. So, yeah, this platform, Creatives Unite, has also emerged in the digital world with COVID. Was very timely, with the Ukraine crisis too, with the idea of having this contribute button whereby you can directly input your the things that you are doing, and yeah, so I think it's a great, it's more than a project, as Vassilis always says, we're all family. So I'm very happy that we are here all together, and that also so many new family members are here, and thank you for everything.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you very much, Barbara. Okay, maybe I stand up. So as you know, over these 3 days of the conference, we're actually changing venues every time. We know it's a little bit confusing, but I think that's also a little bit of a richness that we're shaking things up a little, and you're discovering different areas of Porto and also outside of Porto. So we are very proud that tomorrow we'll be going outside of Porto to Viana do Castelo, and here we have today with us the hosts, our hosts for tomorrow, Mr. Ricardo Rego, who is from Viana Innovation Councillor from Viana do Castelo. Take the floor. Whichever you prefer. Okay.
Good morning, all. I would like to thank you for the invitation. I want to congratulate the European Creative Hubs Network for this initiative, Goethe-Institut, European Commission, Porto Municipality. Thank you for your hospitality. Creative industries experts and all creative hubs and creatives here. Today, most of workers constantly seek more flexibility, freedom and balance between their professional and personal life. Many come to choose a lifestyle that allows them to stay in facility or space through the world with people who think the same way, with a sense of community, sometimes called creative hub. A hub, you know all, is a way of organizing work that sprang up in different sectors and various organizations in the last years. A creative hub is today a well-known concept connoting a dynamic bringing together diverse talents, disciplines and skills to intensify innovation and diversity. As co-working and remote network trends continue to increase in popularity in the post-pandemic period, Creative Hubs assumes particular importance in the consolidating initiatives involving creators, freelancers, and entrepreneurs in the creative industries for developing territories such as Viana do Castelo. The Municipality of Viana wants to support and stimulate creative hubs in Viana do Castelo, due not only to the characteristics of our city, but also to the development of new potential for doing different and better in tackling our problems. Many of those problems are common to all cities and regions, but the way to address and solve them successfully depends on the talent of the people involved. We are working to provide an urban area with a new digital dynamic through the Digital Commercial Neighbor project that we are implementing, which will give several initiatives and investments in so-called digital placemaking approach. We believe that kind of investment will be significant for Viana do Castelo to be one of the main cities to be considering and choosing for young creators and innovators that want to work and try new experience in urban or non-urban spaces. The extension of our city with specific localized service, products or digital experience can create more meaningful destinations for everyone in these places. Digital placemaking enhance place social, culture, environmental and economic value by using place-specific digital technology to foster more creative and close relationships between people and the place they invade. To attract talent, we intend to challenge all creative professionals and companies, including those who are present today, to be a part of community in Viana do Castelo, to create, involve, collaborate, and develop new services and products that can further increase new hubs, new jobs, new companies, and new people that all contribute to digital and creative transition in Viana do Castelo. In that way, we are delighted to participate in this important conference, and in particular, learn how to access to different finances, resources, and specific policies for the non-urban and rural areas that cultural, scene innovation, and many more. Tomorrow, we hope to welcome in Viana to get to know a little bit what we are doing in Viana. I hope this visit is the first of many visits. Finally, I have to have a special thank to Jana and Dina Moderators, because creative and dynamic cities are made by creative and dynamic people. And these people challenge the municipality to improve. For that, I have a special thank to Joana, because it's Joana that put Viana in this conference. Many thanks.
Thank you very much, Ricardo, and we really look forward to tomorrow. And now, last but not least, our hosts today in this wonderful venue, which I hope you all like, which is really amazing, Mr. Filipe Araújo, I hope I pronounced that correctly, the Vice Mayor of the Porto Municipality and the City Councillor for Environment, Climate, Innovation and Digital Transition.
Thanks. Well, good morning, everyone. It's very nice to see this room full of people. Well, dear moderators, Vassilis and Dubravka, dear Jana Binder from the Goethe-Institut, Barbara Stacher, you are from the European Commission, the Director General for Education and Culture, dear Ricardo, Rego, my colleague and City Councillor for Viana and Castelo. It's a pleasure to have an event with you. So it's very nice, and you definitely will be very well received in Viana. You will see it's a marvelous city, so you will all definitely enjoy. Cristina, Farinha also here, and Tanya, and all the participants, all the guests here. It's a pleasure to have you here. Let me start by greeting, of course, everyone in this vibrant event. I would also like to thank the organization for choosing Porto, namely the European Creative Hubs Network from your president, and the Creative Fleet Project for being the event's driving force. The Municipality of Viana that co-promotes the event with us, so it's very important for us, and especially dynamic. You usually think on what is going to happen in these new ways of living that the City Council just mentioned, and I always look to multipolar dimensions, so not everything in a single city. So I'm very glad to have an event organized with Viana. Also the Crew Creative Hubs and the UPTEC and Dynamo 10, and so there is a lot of partners. Welcome to the city. I hope you feel very well here. It's an honor for us to have you here. Well, Porto is a city that is very proud to bring culture, tradition, knowledge together. So this is a lot of our DNA. And we continue to challenge ourselves to follow this path of growth and improvement of our institutions, of our companies and communities, without forgetting the unavoidable connection between the past and the future that we envision. So that's usually very important for us. It's a historical city, more than 2,000 years of history, so we have a huge path that allows us to understand that we become a commercial port. Since then, we built based on working, on overcoming lots of challenges and progressing the city. And today, Porto has a state-of-the-art knowledge produced in the city by its academia, a strong pool of talent and creative people, also growing local investors network, so it's becoming huge. But other factors that allow the city to have this good moment, which is good accessibility, good infrastructures, uncommon safety levels, high quality of life, vibrant culture. So there's a lot going on that is feeding the ecosystem to becoming more and more interesting by every day. So that's more or less how we see it. And we are proud to promote this innovation ecosystem. It's the path that will lead us to the transformation, when we always see innovation as the transformation of the city. So it's very important for us to promote this revolution in mentalities, also in productivity, in efficiency, in many other things that allow us to face the future in another way. And I heard that you already visited the Porto Innovation Hub, which is our house of innovation, where we promote a lot of the things that I just mentioned here. It's the way to show that innovation is really something that we put a lot of effort. I would say that our political manifesto since 2013 brought the innovation for the first time, brought innovation to this political agenda. We are talking at the same time about having cultural, social, economic, and social cohesion and economic policies as the three main pillars, but we also brought the innovation to the framework that we want to accomplish. And since 2013, we have done a lot on all these things. And of course, using culture in 2013 as one of the pillars, we see now the importance of this during this almost 10 years of our government, this investment in culture every day, and we strongly believe that is the key instrument to a healthy and vibrant cities and better and more educated citizens. On what it comes to the cultural and creative industries, we consider them as an engine for the growth and innovation that should be fostered and strategically exploited, as they play a unique role for the growth, for inclusiveness, for sustainability in the EU and in the world. So that's how we look to it. Not only we, United Nations also proclaimed last year as the International Year of the Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, which is particularly relevant in a sector that was severely affected by the pandemic and by the COVID-19. And for UN also, the direct economic value of creative industries accounts more or less for 3% of the GDP, in addition, of course, for their inestimable cultural and social value. As for us, we are aware of the fact that the cultural and creative industries are key drivers of the creative economy and represent important sources of employment, economic growth, innovation, and contribute to the competitiveness and sustainability of the cities. On the other hand, culture and creativity are high potential sectors to bring social, economic, and urbanistic also benefits to the city, as their communities and the pandemic has also demonstrated that the power of the creative industries is a huge resource for the recovery and the resiliency of cities. Through their contribution also to the urban regeneration and sustainable urban development, cultural and creative industries make cities much more attractive, both for residents and also for economic activities. And culture and creativity contribute also to social cohesion, and especially at the neighborhood level, and they usually help us to activate the creative and professional networks that foster all the innovation that I'm talking about, all the growth that I'm talking about, and to create huge opportunities for those who are often excluded from a society. So it brings together this inclusiveness that I'm talking about that cities need. In Portugal, this sector is made up mostly of highly specialized niche businesses that create value by combining technology, innovation, and creativity in the design of new cultural products. The city of Porto wants to support the growth of this strong creative ecosystem by combining technology and art, creativity, experimentation, innovation, and the differentiation of the services of their businesses, their companies, entrepreneurs, and the community of a whole. For us, it is important to explore, to discuss, and to advocate the emerging topics of education, cultural policies, and innovation through and within arts and creativity. And this conference is and can give rise to future collaborations in the pursuit of a general goal. I think it's a common goal, that is the pursuit of a better quality of life through sustainable and sustained economic growth in communities empowered by knowledge and creativity and technology. As a final comment, the topic discussed here today about culture and creativity are very important for the continuous construction of our common future. And it's very good that you have brought this discussion in Porto, because we have always the ambition to lead by example and to build a better city, but also a better region and a better country. There is an important role of all sectors to achieve a better city at all levels, including to achieve sustainability at a global level. And that's why we decided to launch the Porto Climate Pact. It's a pact to engage all the community, to involve all the citizens, all the organizations in a common goal, that is to achieve climate neutrality in 2030. And this is in line with the European Commission's ambition for the 100 climate neutral and smart cities by 2030 that choose also Porto as one of these mission cities. And because there is only one way if we are together in this mission, and so all sectors are truly relevant, and I know that it's also an important subject for all of you. We are very glad that you all are here, that you are fostering and being a part of this discussion, and also supporting the ecosystem in its path to for the growth, as the role of the cities should be. We should be empowering this community. That's how we see ourselves as an actor here. And we are very glad to have you all here, and I wish you a very pleasant conference. I'm sure that it will be filled of new concepts and insights, and sharing with many different ways of looking to the world, because I heard that you came from a lot of different countries from Europe, so we have different things, different problems, different challenges. Some of them are common, and some of them we will need to be together to solve them. That's a role that the European Commission has, and of course the cities also have been supporting the European Commission a lot I usually say that cities support more the European Commission than the government, than the state, so usually it's how I see things, and we have an important role which we should act upon it. So it will be a sharing space that I will tell you that you are in the service building of the municipality, so the political building and that building over there. A few services there, but not a lot. Here are mainly the service that we have. The third floor is not being used, and so as we always do when we have things that are not being used, we don't close them. We help them to have a different life. And we have been doing this with different spaces all over the city. This is one of them. I think you are going to also to be in the 7th floor, where you will have the opportunity. Maybe in a few months, this could be occupied by offices, but in the meanwhile, it's been helping the community. It's been sharing this space with the city for these events or many others that we have been doing here. Right next to this was an old building that now is filled with people designing the new BMW cars. So 1,000 engineers right here over there next to this. Well, if we brought this wall down, we will see them. So a lot going on, a lot with bright minds and creativity. That's how we see the city of Porto. I hope you enjoy being here. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Filipe, and also thanks to Tanya and the Crew Hub for putting us together and making it possible that we are all here today. It's really an amazing space. And also, I mean, I just want to say that it's really not a surprise that Porto and Portugal in general are such a bustling beehive of culture creative activity with such innovative policies, and they're very lucky to have you, and we are also looking forward to visiting the Bautopia district later today to see it really in life on the street, what you are talking about today. So now I would pass the word to Vassilis, who has a few words to say and also to introduce our special guest.
Hello. So before that, I wote like to tell you that if you didn't grab your tote bags from the entrance, you should do it later in the day. The tote bags are unique, and they're becoming also kind of tradition for us. I mean, it's the second time we tried. They're upcycled T-shirts sourced from a local market and then shoot together to become and have a second life as tote bags. So that's why they're all different, so excuse if there's something that you don't like there, but you can choose your own, and they have their own life and personality. That's great. But together, you can have, we have just published a book with Kiklada Press. I think the publisher is here, David. He's somewhere there. Great. Thank you, David, for helping. So after the first edition of Bautopia, we published, we managed to collect some critical texts about empathy, because empathy was the buzzword and what was overarching our previous edition. So please take the book. We're really proud about the outcome and the content there. I think that the text will spark thinking and conversations for the future. So please use it as a reference also. And also for the hub people and whomever is interested about hubs in our ecosystem and our big family, we managed for the first time after many years to publish a new book about what we are, how we are defined, what makes the network, and what are our activities. You have also this publication, we call it Value Proposition, but this is a formal title. So you can use this book as a reference to the programs we're running, our activities, our priorities, the way we do it, but also there's an extensive description there of how we define ourselves and how we extend and how we work within local ecosystems, like the one we are here now today. So also you can refer to this book whenever you need some more information. And of course, I would like to say that also Rita is the connection ambassador, our connection person with all the community. So anything you need, anytime, you can address to Rita. And she's more than happy to facilitate any of your needs or questions or anything you think about. Personal stuff, personal wishes. Yes. So, yes, thank you very much, Rita. So that's pretty much it. Just to tell you a bit, what I have noticed over time is that approximately every 8 years, there's something like a spiral, like a cycle closing and an evolution happening. So I see in all the projects we're involved and everything we're doing that there is a lifespan of 8 years, and then we restart and reset everything and go for next things. And this is amazing because exactly 8 years ago, we were in Portugal, not in Porto, unfortunately, but in Lisbon, for the very first conference and meeting of Creative Hubs. It was the kickstart of the Creative Hubs idea, but also the first time that an idea about a network of Creative Hubs was pitched. And that happened actually because of the contribution of many people, but mainly Cristina Farinha. Where is Cristina? Ah, you're tiny, Cristina. I lose you all the time. Where are you? Yep. So Cristina has been a valuable contributor from the beginning. Part of what we do, even today, is part of her initial work. And afterwards, we lost you a bit, Cristina, and we miss you. No, and that's why we thought that it's really important to have you today here with us and maybe talk about the initial beginnings 8 years ago.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bom dia a todos. Greetings to all. It's a pleasure to have so many colleagues around in town. It doesn't happen so frequently in Porto. My intervention is supposed to be an historical signpost to remember and to give account of the creation of the European Creative Hubs Network. So, of course, I will voice many different people that were part of this group of initiators. Some of them are here in this stage and in the room. And I thank you, of course, very much, Vassilis, Tanya, and Creative Hubs Network for giving me the floor to tell the story of the network. Actually, indeed, 8 years. And actually, I'm speaking about it now and here because it actually took place here in the city of Porto, a little bit all around the city, 8 years ago, indeed. So I have to go a little bit before to be able to put into context what happened in 2014, but I promise that I will be very, very short. So between 2008, 2013, the city of Porto and the north region of Portugal had quite a very pioneering initiative in favor of the creative industries, taking it as an engine for the urban and territorial development of the region. Actually, it was a bottom-up initiative, not really grassroots, but bottom-up because it was a group of institutions, cultural institutions, universities, municipalities that came together. They have created a strategy. They have managed to design and integrate a specific fund for creative industries into the region, North Region operational program, funded by the EU structural funds, specific for creative industries, consisting of 80 million of investment for infrastructures and events. And they have also created a creative industries agency to lead the process. Then, between this period, many investments started to pop up. Buildings were renovated, old factories as well rehabilitated. Actually, yesterday the manager of UPTEC said that they were starting a new process of renovation here downtown. But actually the first renovation took place around 2008, 2009, or maybe before, but it was funded by this fund. And so many other places like this were being rehabilitated. There were many events, capacity building sessions, festivals, even the European Capital of Culture that took place in the region, in the city of Guimarães in 2012. It was also partially funded by this same fund. So in 2012, I find myself in the agency, and alongside with managers of this spaces or centers that were opening up their doors, we started to meet. Actually, we started to organize dinners. We thought that dinners were more relaxed and we would have more time. And visiting each other's sites and starting to discuss our issues, our problems. And actually, it was a bunch of people that were from different centers, so incubators, co-works, transfer and technology centers, artistic and creative centers, but all of them actually had a common mission that was to support creativity and to make it happen, basically to help creators and artists to transform ideas into projects. So we started to get to know each other. Around 2014, and we are already in 2014, we started to think that it would be important to organize a forum, organize a first forum, and to enlarge also this regional informal network group that was already meeting each other. And that's when we add to the project a partner that was also key in the development of it all, that was the British Council, based in Lisbon. So by then there was Ben Evans, just arriving fresh from London, very enthusiastic and very dedicated to the cause. So we managed to convince him to partner with us and organize the forum together. The deal was that the agency would bring the regional network, but also other centers from across the country, because even though the region was pioneer, there are already also centers appearing in Lisbon and in other parts of the country. And the British Council would bring the internationals. So they decided to invite a group, around 8, I guess, 8, 10 managers from hubs in Spain, from different regions in Spain, to have an Iberian focus, and then a few other managers from across Europe. So there was Greece, Bios and Vassilis were on the first forum. There was Beta House from Germany, and then I cannot recall the name of the hubs, but I know that was Italy, Bulgaria, and UK. So really a few of them. So it was a small-scale event that actually took place in São João da Madeira, so a city south of Porto, 50 kilometers to the south, in also recently opened hub called Oliva Creative Factory. It took place in February. And actually it was by then that we started to associate the term creative hubs to us, because we needed a short name for the posters and for the communication. And we didn't know how to somehow identify this myriad of different spaces, and the English language is very, very useful for this. And we somehow came up with the word hubs that meant a little bit of everything and nothing at the same time. But it was sounded fantastic, so we started to put the name in the posters and on the brochures. And we had the first forum. So the first forum was a success, and immediately we started to think about the second forum. The first idea was to make it in Porto, as he was saying. We actually had a meeting here with Filipe, myself and Ben. We met over there in that building here next to us, to try to start thinking about the organization of the second forum here. Filipe was quite supportive, I have to say, and thank. But politically, there was an interest to do it in Lisbon. The team of the British Council was all based in Lisbon as well. Here they just have the language school, and they wanted to do it in Lisbon, so we did it in Lisbon. So in 2015, the second forum took place. Some of you here already have been to that forum. I would say that from now, history began. Also, another key person that is part of the initiator groups, that is Barbara Stacher, on behalf of the European Commission, was also there and has been supporting us since then. 1 year after, a pilot project funded by the European Commission that would lead to the creation and establishment of the European Creative Hubs Network started. When we started with original conversations, the main needs that were actually the main needs at the origins of the network were first, networking. So the managers needed to get to know each other, to learn from each other, to make contacts and partnerships, develop economies of scale. Secondly, capacity building. Because there were some capacity building and training going on and being funded and organized by these hubs, but they were targeted to the community, to the users, to the professionals. But the managers themselves, they also needed training, because it was actually a new professional profile coming out. And also by then, some were coming from the business area, some coming from the management, others coming from arts field, and they lacked skills and they wanted to learn from each other. Thirdly, of course, internationalization, getting to know other experiences that were already more developed ahead, making contacts, partnerships for European funding, and also learning for actually the communities that these hubs serve. Because at the end, the networking, the capacity building, the internationalization of the hubs and the managers are serving the ultimate goal of serving the community. And this was actually the mission of the network in the very beginning. And just to conclude, let me just add two other more goals that we had in our mind by then, that we thought it would come at a later stage, probably the stage that you are now, that by then we also believed that the Creative Hubs network and the Creative Hubs themselves would become or could become relevant and engaged stakeholders in the territories, in the cities, in the regions, political discussions and policy-making processes. So that somehow arts and creativity could have a dialogue with the political side and contribute to effectively develop the territories. It was clear that only economic impact was not the only potential of these spaces, and that social dimensions, as well the contribution to the climate change agenda, were important areas where the people located in these spaces could also contribute, and that these spaces should have open the doors to the communities. And second, also last but not least, that this European strong community would start to open doors and connect across borders worldwide to meet African, Asian, and American peers. So I'm very happy to follow. I'm not out, I'm following very closely what is going on with the network. I'm very happy also that the network is partner to so important European projects, like now the KIC for creative industries that is starting, but also the Flip project. And I thank you and wish all best to all of you.
Thank you, Cristina. We are very happy because you've been a really valuable member of the family, and we made a gift, a small gift for you.
Thank you.
It's heavy, I'm sorry for that.
Oh.
And we had to carry from Greece, but it's including all our latest publications together with the latest value proposition. So, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. And also, it's something that we have to have been doing for a long time, but we have... Cristina, where are you going? You're rushing out already from the network? What is happening? Sorry. So, also, we have included you in our honorary members. It's something that should have happened before. It was a mistake, and it's my mistake, actually, so I apologize for that. But it's better late than never. So thank you very much again for all your efforts, all your contributions, and for giving birth to our Creative Hubs idea. So, yeah, a big applause. Thank you very much.